Hey boardies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. This is another 10 board games that have been mispronounced, wrongly spelt, etc. Now this is really the crux of them. There's a lot of here which you might recognise in particular because these very popular titles. So first up, we've got another French place. See if you can guess what it is. It's not Troyes or Troy, it's Troyes. Troyes. I've definitely said Troyes a few times. I know many other people have done as well. The next one's a bit of a weird one because I can't believe someone said this way, and I think it's just a joke. Baroni. Now this is by Marc-Andre, the designer of Splendor, and you can check out my video for that, but it's Barony, B-A-R-O-N-Y. But this person has pronounced it Baroni, like pepperoni, because it's emphasis on Rony, R-O-N-Y. Now I mentioned this next one, this Area Control trilogy, in the more 10 videos or 10 games which are mispronounced, and this one is Inish, I-N-I-S, which I think is Irish. I still don't know what's correct. Is it Innis? Is it Inis? Is it Inish, I-N-I-S? For some reason the people say Inish, so I've gone with that. Now the next one, Ryan Sturm made Jeffrey Engelstein laugh talking about this one when it came out. This is CGE, this is the first in a T-series game, and this is Tzolk'in, as he pronounced it. Now I have said Tzolk'in, but I don't know if I first said it correctly, and I know a number of people say it incorrectly as well. Tzolk'in, very similar, those particular ones. Obviously quite like Tzolk'in, which has an apostrophe after the fifth letter. I've already made quite a few mispronunciations today and in the prior video. Next one, I don't know if I've said incorrect. I know I've heard it said to me, and I know a few people have said it incorrectly though, and that's Carcassonne. Or Carcassonne. Now Carcassonne I've been to. It was the first place I deliberately went to. In fact, went there before playing the game. And yeah, it's a very nice place. I do recommend it. A lovely castle. Highly recommended from a thematic way of having a castle. And the game's highly, I think, very thematically tied to it. I think it must have been not the publisher, but the designer who came up with that idea. Klaus, I think his name is Klaus Worth, something or other, in the year 2000 or so. Next one you can find on the channel as well is Carcassonne, or Carcassonne. And that is something I've definitely said wrong a few times, probably on the channel as well. Picamino, but this is by Rainer Knizia, so you can check my playlist for him too. But apparently it's Picomino. I think it's Picomino because it is domino kind of pieces that you're kind of working with. So Picomino, you might want to check out again my video for that one to see how many times I said incorrectly. And now this is kind of the Mac Daddy of mispronunciations. And I've definitely said this one wrong incorrectly. I know others have too. And this is one I mentioned in the first video to do with emphasizing the certain letter halfway through the word, and that is the letter C for Agricola. Interesting title, again, an Uwe Rosenberg title I've mentioned on the other two videos to do in this series of mispronunciations about how to pronounce his name. And you can check my playlist. Again, I've played over 40 of his games at this point, and you can see my pictures over on Instagram where I actually met him as well. Next up, this is similar to the last one in terms of the big C, let's say, because Camel Up. I've definitely said Camel Up, and I've also said Camel Cup. I've said Camel Cup many times. It's a racing game. Cup makes perfect sense. The C is used twice. Well, it's not used twice, but it could be used twice to make Camel Up. But supposedly it's just meant to be Camel Up. But the fact they've got this massive C, it feels to me as if it was a no-brainer that they could be calling it Camel Up or Camel Cup. It works either way. I'm happy with either title. But it is called Camel Up because your camel is moving up and then they're all moving across together. So that's interesting. The fact that they kind of made it misleading. Obviously, it's helpful for search engines to make sure you can find out what you're looking for, though. And the next two I've got in person. I have probably said this incorrectly a few times, and I can see why people would do it as well. And this is, I think I've got a playlist out on Bowser. Met him a second time this year, and that is Hanabi. Hanabi, again, we started speaking to people saying that at games, that's why they say what they say, but Hanabi, because it does look Hanabi, or other ways of saying it, Han-A-B. I've heard a few ways of saying it, but Hanabi is how it's said correctly. And lastly, I do know the publisher, and I've known the designer quite a few times. This guy, Shady Torbay, and again, make sure you say that correctly. It is not Onirim, it is Honorim. That's how you say it, Honorim. Now, there are other games in this series I'll be bringing to you as well, so like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course share. By Impatience, this is the second edition I'm holding here. There's another title which is not by Shady, but it is by Impatience, which I recently added, so I'll be doing another set of videos to do with those mispronunciations, because I've said one of those incorrectly, and there's a new game which is not by this designer, who's also over here too. So what is the bonus today? The bonus for this one is going to be a place. So we've had a designer, we've had a publisher, and now we've got a place. This place is called, it's in essence, so it's technically not a place, I guess, but it is the name of a convention, and that is Spiel. It's not said Spiel, it's Spiel. That's how you say it, Sp, like Sputnik, I guess you want to say it. So Spiel is what you should be saying. Now, it was called initially called Spiel. Lots of people called it Essen. Since I got bought out, it's now been called Spiel Essen because there's going to be other Spiels eventually going around in space, and they might well be calling it somewhere else. So that is another 10 lists or another 10 different board games you want to check out. There's some behind me as well, which I can always spot, which can be difficult to pronounce too. Hope you found this one of interest. Again, I look forward to speaking to you on the next one as well. Hopefully you enjoy those games. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you do. Again, links should be available, or make sure I have some kind of notification as well going through, so check out those cards. But for now, enjoy those games. Back to the table.